He's the quiet heart of Barnwood Builders. Steady, humble, endlessly genuine. But what really happened to Johnny Jett? You've seen him wielding heavy machinery with the precision of an artist, guiding massive beams as if they were butterflies. You've watched him and his brother Billy dismantle century-old cabins, salvage every log, and breathe new life into wood worn by time. You've felt the warmth in his smile and laughed at his down-to-earth humor. Yet behind that calm voice and patient gaze lies a story of hardship, struggle, and survival that most viewers never imagined. Today we peel back the layers of Johnny's life, from his roots in rural Kentucky, through the battlefields of Vietnam, across turbulent years of addiction, and into the quiet redemption found in his faith and craftsmanship. So settle in, because this is the untold journey of a man whose legend nearly ended before it began. Johnny and William Eugene Billy Jett were born into a Methodist household where faith was the bedrock. Long before reality cameras ever rolled, these two boys ran barefoot through fields of clover, raced sticks along muddy creeks during recess, and learned that hard work was as natural as breathing. Back then, Johnny was the explorer, dreaming of wide-open spaces. Billy was the protector, always keeping an eye on his younger brother. Their parents taught them to value honesty, integrity, and compassion, values Johnny carries into every project he touches. As Johnny grew, his family's roots ran deep in the Appalachian soil. Schools in Clay County, Kentucky meant dirt roads, one-room libraries, and teachers who knew every child by name. He struggled academically, confessing later that professors sounded like they spoke another language. Yet one subject sparked a fire in him: art and literature. There, he found his first real success, a fleeting glimpse of what it felt like to create, to sketch, to imagine possibilities beyond the horizon. Following his brother's lead, Johnny enrolled at Morehead State University. But the world of lecture halls and long reading lists proved unforgiving. He flunked all but that single arts course, leaving him with a crossroads: abandon his creative spark or find a new path. He chose the latter, transferring to a vocational drafting program at Maysville Community College. Those drafting tables awakened something in him, a deep respect for lines, angles, and the structure hidden within every piece of wood. By 1968, Johnny graduated and landed a drafting job at Cincinnati Milling Company. Surrounded by blueprints, metal presses, and precision tools, he honed his technical eye. But life had other plans. In 1969, the draft notice arrived. 6 weeks at Fort Dix, New Jersey, transformed the quiet draftsman into an Army engineer. Suddenly, his skills kept men alive. Bridges crossed, structures fortified, machines maintained. When he shipped off to Vietnam in 1971, Johnny never touched a rifle. Instead, he kept the gears turning, literally tearing down enemy fortifications and rebuilding makeshift airstrips. But war is never just mechanics and motion. Between missions, soldiers faced endless hours of boredom, fear, and moral injury. Marijuana and heavier substances were everywhere, offering relief from cold nights and gunfire echoes. Johnny succumbed. He later admitted using drugs to numb the panic that followed mortar blasts and the guilt of surviving when comrades fell. Returning home in '72, Johnny faced a battle within. His father, refusing to let him slip away, offered him a job at the family's water company. The daily routine, fixing pumps, laying pipes, helped anchor him. That's when faith became more than Sunday ritual. It became lifeline. With God's grace, Johnny clawed back from the edge, swapping addiction's chain for purpose. He began speaking at rehab centers, sacrificing his pride to help veterans find the same foothold he did. It was during this fragile recovery that Johnny rediscovered his true calling: cabins. His brother Billy, already a skilled carpenter, had a passion for dismantling old log structures. Watching Billy revive a dilapidated cabin ignited Johnny's imagination. When an abandoned shack on auction caught his eye, he seized the chance. With brother in tow, he dismantled, labeled, and moved every hand-hewn beam to their family farm, then rebuilt it piece by piece. The sweat, camaraderie, and meticulous care felt like home. Word spread fast among collectors, historians, and dreamers. People wanted authentic wood with stories etched into every knot and grain. Johnny and Billy assembled a boneyard of stacked logs, each tagged with origin and year. Their reputation blossomed until tragedy struck. In 1995, Billy passed away unexpectedly, leaving Johnny alone with their final cabin project. Grief threatened to stall his momentum, but love propelled him forward. Bringing in longtime friend Sherman Thompson, Johnny vowed to finish what Billy began. Together they resurrected old cabins, each job fueling Johnny's resolve. His meticulous approach, photographing every joint, numbering every corner, earned him respect. By 1998 they joined forces with Mark Bow at Antique Cabins and Barns, becoming founding craftsmen of a new vision. It was on one fateful afternoon during a ski trip in West Virginia that Rick Kaplan of Silent Crow Productions stumbled upon their boneyard. Intrigued, he pitched a documentary. That spring marked the seed of Barnwood Builders, though few could predict how rapidly it would grow. And yet, amid all this triumph, a dark rumor almost eclipsed his legacy entirely. One morning in 2023, an online obituary for Johnny Jett out of Houston circulated. Panic erupted. Fans believed the unthinkable, that this gentlest of giants had fallen. Comments flooded in. "Is Johnny okay? My heart can't take it." Friends and family swore it was a hoax. Still, the question loomed, how could one man survive so much hardship and still inspire millions? When Johnny's name surfaced in that bogus obituary, his reaction was characteristically calm. Friends called in a panic, and he simply laughed before clarifying the truth. Family members confirmed it was a case of mistaken identity, a coincidence of names between him and a man in Houston. In interviews, Johnny admitted feeling both surprised and touched by the flood of concern from fans around the world. He spoke of the relief he experienced when messages shifted from grief to affection, proof that his impact went far beyond heavy machinery and timber. In that moment it became clear that his real legacy wasn't just the barns he preserved, but the trust and warmth he built with every follower, a human connection. After that scare, Barnwood Builders entered a new golden era when Magnolia Network's Chip and Joanna Gaines personally selected the show to join their revamped lineup. Suddenly, Johnny's unassuming expertise reached 500 million homes worldwide, up from 60 million. Producers watched in amazement as viewers tuned in for more than just impressive conversions. They craved the authenticity woven through each frame. Every episode became a living tapestry of American history, stitched together by heavy machinery and skilled hands. Johnny's role stood out. He wasn't just an operator of bulldozers and forklifts. He was a storyteller, coaxing narratives from timber and telling them through every precise movement. In living rooms across the country, families gathered to witness his silent artistry, his humility standing in stark contrast to the roaring engines he commanded. It was more than carpentry, it was movement. One of Johnny's unforgettable moments came during the Lincoln Barn salvage in Depot, Indiana. The original structure, built by Abraham Lincoln's uncle, stood as a testament to 19th-century ingenuity. Wooden pegs instead of nails, beams weighing over 1,000 pounds. While machinery could have torn it down in minutes, Johnny insisted on manual preservation of trusses and siding, honoring the owner's wish to reuse every board. Viewers held their breath as he guided each log off its perch, the camera capturing beads of sweat glistening on his brow and the steady determination in his eyes. In another episode, he tackled a collapsing chapel, leading the team through intricate dismantling procedures usually reserved for museum curators. These scenes illuminated the depth of his expertise and the reverence he held for history. Behind the scenes, Johnny's approach was a study in contrasts. He handled machinery capable of uprooting entire barns with the gentleness of someone caressing a violin. Every log he touched carried a story: the exact year it was felled, the original nail patterns, the location nailed by the pioneers. Before any demolition began, Johnny and Sherman meticulously photographed and labeled each piece, mapping out a blueprint in reverse to guide reconstruction. His humor lightened the load, joking about needing one more forklift dance, or wryly describing a particularly stubborn beam as a diva refusing to play nice. Fans on social media marveled at his precision. He could eyeball a $10,000 restoration by sight alone. That blend of technical mastery, humility, and storytelling turned routine salvage into must-watch television, creating a FOMO effect as viewers feared missing his next exciting revelation. For many, Johnny became more than a TV star. He was a mentor, a hopeful reminder that tradition and innovation could coexist. Viewers wrote in, seeking his advice on logging careers, woodworking apprenticeships, even college drafting programs. Some veterans found solace in his story of recovery, seeing hope in his journey from war-torn jungles back to the quiet of Kentucky fields. Faith-based groups shared clips of his speeches at rehabilitation centers, celebrating his candid faith. Each thank you note, each hashtagged photo of a restored log cabin reinforced the bond between Johnny and an audience hungry for genuine connection. Each time he shared a build update, social media buzzed with speculation. When off camera, Johnny channels his spirit into art pieces that sell out within hours online. From handcrafted barn door shelves to elegant wood and metal sculptures, each creation carries the same reverence he shows in his restoration work. In interviews, he credits his wife Donna for encouraging him to pursue artistic experiments, turning raw timber into objects that resonate with beauty and history. Collectors praise how he balances form and function, infusing each piece with a narrative rich as the logs themselves. Johnny's life embodies dualities, an introverted craftsman and a commanding operator, a man of faith wielding steel and sweat, a humble husband creating legacies for the ages. His story reminds us that strength often wears a gentle face. Stay tuned to uncover how Johnny's next chapter in 2024 blends innovation with tradition, promising his boldest project yet, and much more. He stood at the edge of that sprawling field in rural Virginia, its rolling hills dotted with broken barns that whispered stories of generations long gone. This spring, Johnny has signed on to lead his boldest salvage project yet, the Timberland Manor, a 1890s estate barn so vast that its roof beams spanned 30 feet from wall to wall. No ordinary demolition, this venture demands a blend of engineering wizardry and reverent finesse only Johnny can deliver. Cameras will capture every delicate peel of siding, every measured lift of heavy timber, and every candid moment of reflection. Viewers won't just watch, they'll feel the gravity of preserving living history as it unfolds in real time. Mark your calendars, because missing this event might be the one regret of your Barnwood Builders fandom. Contrast frames this mission. On one hand, modern machinery that roars like a steel beast. On the other, centuries-old hand-hewn beams carved by pioneers who tapped the land for shelter and survival. Johnny plans to orchestrate a dance between robotic precision and human reverence, coordinating drones to survey structural integrity before heavy-lift rigs inch in to cradle massive trusses. With refined planning software overlaid atop drone footage, he'll plot every excavation, ensuring minimal disturbance to the terrain. But the true magic lies in the manual tasks, chiseling wooden pegs, labeling each log with a historian's accuracy, and reassembling components so seamlessly that visitors will swear the rebuilt barn has always stood there. It's the ultimate synthesis of tradition and technology, and few could pull off both roles as gracefully as Johnny. Underneath the roar of engines, Johnny's narrative technique reveals itself in subtle storytelling. He pauses before each cut to reflect on the origin story of the timber, perhaps a cabin where a pioneer held his first child, or a barn that sheltered soldiers returning from war. His voiceover delves into archival letters and faded photographs, connecting modern audiences to personal anecdotes that dance in sepia tone. Interviews with descendants surface on screen, their voices trembling as they recall family lore. The timbers were harvested the same year the Civil War armistice was signed, or the roof saved thousands of bushels of grain during the Dust Bowl. This layered approach, blending factual history with emotional resonance, transforms a routine restoration into a living time capsule. Every squeak of a lifting beam and every echo in the empty rafters becomes part of Johnny's unfolding chronicle. As the Timberland Manor operation kicks into high gear, the community aspect grows increasingly vibrant. Local volunteers line up to help sort reclaimed beams, each person staking a claim to a piece of history. School groups tour the boneyard, wide-eyed at the numbered stacks of timber, and elderly residents share childhood tales of family farms that once dotted the landscape. Johnny smiles as he listens. He knows these moments matter as much as the construction itself. Online, the Barnwood Builders forum explodes with FOMO-inducing updates, time-lapse reels, behind-the-scenes Q&A sessions, and exclusive drone flyovers teasing precarious rafters. Fans plan road trips to the site, hoping to glimpse Johnny's steady silhouette against the sunrise. They tag friends, "Don't miss this," in a flurry of digital invitations. It's more than a TV show, it's a shared pilgrimage for anyone who treasures the tactile pulse of history. Yet in the midst of this excitement, Johnny remains grounded by his faith and by the memory of his late brother. At quiet dawn services in Old Kai, he offers prayers for safe work, gratitude for fallen pioneers, and blessings for the timber's next life. His voice is low, reverent, as he reads scripture passages that once guided early loggers facing winter's fury. Later, he leads brief meditations on site, inviting crew members and volunteers to pause, breathe, and connect with a tradition older than any of them. It's a ritual that brings everyone together, reminding them that beyond the sawdust and steel, they are part of a continuum that stretches back through centuries. In Johnny's world, restoration is as much spiritual as structural, and every nailed joint echoes a legacy of faith and resilience. As the season finals approach, fans brace for a climactic reveal. Will Johnny unearth a hidden time capsule inside the beams, or will an unexpected structural hurdle force him to improvise on the spot? Teasers promise incredibly rare guest appearances, secret blueprints, and a special dedication ceremony honoring pioneers whose names have long vanished from the historical record. One thing is certain, this chapter of Barnwood Builders will test Johnny's creativity, faith, and skill like never before. Hit subscribe and ring the bell, because when history calls, you don't just watch, you become part of the story. After the dust settled from the death hoax, Johnny realized that his connection with viewers had deepened in unexpected ways. The flood of messages, videos, and fan art reminded him that every beam he lifts carries more weight than wood alone. What might have been a passing rumor instead crystallized into proof of an unspoken bond. Viewers weren't just logging in for heavy equipment or rustic transformations, they tuned in because they saw parts of their own stories reflected in his quiet resilience. This revelation changed the tenor of his work. No longer was each salvage merely a project. It became an opportunity to honor the shared human experience, to prove that no matter how old the timber, how battered the bark, hope endures. Through that lens, Johnny approached every morning sunrise with renewed purpose, setting the stage for the most personal chapter of his life yet. Away from the camera's glare, Johnny cherishes the quieter rhythms of family life. His wife Donna remains his steadfast companion. Weekends find them wandering through antique shops or tending to the small workshop behind their home, where his grandchildren Jonathan and Nicholas learn the old ways, hammering nails in miniature cabins under Papa's watchful gaze. When the rumor reached their doorstep, Donna's heart skipped a beat, yet she marveled at how swiftly community love transformed fear into gratitude. Those peaceful moments, threaded with laughter and learning, remind Johnny why his work matters beyond television ratings. It's in teaching the next generation to listen to wood's quiet language, to decode the story hidden in every ring. It's in creating memories that outlast steel and timber alike, forging family legacies stronger than any barn beam. Johnny extends his influence through a mentorship initiative that sprouted long before TV fame. Partnering with veteran support groups and vocational schools across Appalachia, he helps former service members and at-risk youth discover the power of reclaimed wood. Under Johnny's guidance, trainees learn to operate sawmills, craft joinery, and compose restoration plans. The program's ripple effects are profound. Participants find purpose, community, and a tangible connection to America's craftsmanship heritage. In the wake of the death rumor, funding surged as donors recognized the deeper social impact of his mission. Thanks to Johnny's emblematic resilience, the initiative offers healing through hands-on work, turning scars of war and hardship into renewed pride and livelihood. His approach frames restoration not simply as reconstruction, but as reclamation of human dignity. Away from sawdust and site visits, Johnny has launched a surprising new venture, an upcoming memoir that weaves his wartime letters, family anecdotes, and restoration journal entries into a single narrative tapestry. Co-written with a veteran journalist, the book promises unfiltered reflections on fear, hope, and the silent strength found in repurposed timber. Death rumors and redemption arcs will find their place among chapters titled Chains of Steel, Beams of Faith, and Log by Log, Rebuilding a Life. Pre-orders have skyrocketed, testament to an audience eager for deeper insights into his private world. Book tours will span historic towns where Johnny once salvaged barns, each event inviting fans to touch actual reclaimed logs, hear live readings, and participate in restoration demos. In true Johnny fashion, every chapter's release will coincide with a community build, turning page readings into living restorations. As the sun sets on each season, Johnny reflects on a career that has spanned classrooms, battlefields, and boneyards. He contrasts the roles he's played: a young draft dodger who nearly lost himself in Vietnam's haze, a water company worker who rediscovered grace, a craftsman transforming history, and a mentor empowering others to wield tools that rebuild both structures and souls. That journey underscores a powerful truth. Healing doesn't demand erasing the past, it requires embracing every reclaimed splinter, every scar that wood and humanity share. In the years to come, Johnny envisions his role shifting from frontline operator to ambassador of preservation, guiding global efforts to save heritage buildings and inspire community-driven restoration clubs. Whether on screen or in dusty archives, his mission remains unchanged: to prove that every nail hammered and beam lifted has the potential to connect us to yesterday and pave our path forward. And so, as Barnwood Builders prepares to unveil its most ambitious project yet, we invite you to follow Johnny's journey every step of the way. From the roar of heavy equipment to quiet click of wooden pegs, from the echo of wartime memories to the laughter of grandchildren at workbench edges, this story intertwines steel, sweat, and soul. Don't miss a single moment. Subscribe, ring bell, and join your community that cherishes the past while building the future. Johnny's legacy is one we craft together, log by log, story by story. Every morning at first light, Johnny walks the perimeter of his own property, studying the weathered wood fences and imagining how each slat might have once anchored a pioneer's homestead. This ritual grounds him, an exercise in observation that sharpens the skills he later brings to massive salvage sites. As cameras begin rolling on a new episode, he already knows which beams will yield the best grain patterns, where hidden joints might demand extra care, and which logs bear historical significance just from their nail-hole arrangements. For Johnny, seeing beyond the surface wood transforms routine inspection into an art form. Inside his barn-turned-studio, he keeps an array of hand tools, adzes worn smooth by years of carving, slick chisels for delicate mortise cuts, and a trusty marking gauge that looks like it was made a century ago. He traces these tools with reverent fingertips, recalling the craftsmen who first honed their own instruments on the same types of timber. Every nick in a handle becomes a lesson in material science: how oak splits under pressure, how hickory flexes without cracking, how reclaimed poplar holds paint differently from fresh-cut planks. Johnny's tutorials on social media often start here, with close-up shots of the tools that embody tradition. Viewers learn not just technique, but respect for the lineage each implement carries. While his on-screen persona radiates calm authority, the truth is that every project tests Johnny's adaptability. Unscripted hurdles like a load-bearing beam suddenly splintering, or unexpected rot undermining a foundation, force split-second decisions. He describes these moments as controlled improvisation, blending the discipline of an engineer with the intuition of an artist. In one memorable clip, a 150-year-old siding board cracked under its own weight, revealing a 19th-century carving etched by an unknown owner. Johnny and Sherman paused filming to photograph and preserve that artifact, then reassembled the barn with that carved board showcased above the main entrance, an Easter egg hidden in plain sight for eagle-eyed followers. These genuine, unscripted highlights fuel FOMO and keep audiences glued to every frame. Beyond technical mastery, Johnny emphasizes mental resilience. He credits his years in Vietnam for teaching him how to compartmentalize stress, an ability he now channels into calm problem-solving under pressure. When a team member grows frustrated with a stubborn shoulder beam, Johnny steps in with a gentle half-smile, offering a quick demonstration and reminding everyone that patience, more than brute force, often yields the cleanest removal. "You treat the wood like a living thing," he says, "and it tends to respond better." That philosophy extends to interpersonal moments on set. Disagreements never spiral into drama because Johnny's steady presence diffuses tension, guiding the crew back to shared goals. His approach to mentorship illustrates another layer of his influence. Whether coaching a veteran learning machinery operation or guiding a high school student through basic joinery, Johnny's teaching style balances encouragement with high standards. "If you can't lift that beam safely, step back and rethink your rigging," he advises, combining safety protocols with craftsmanship pride. Video segments showing these hands-on lessons resonate deeply, prompting viewers to comment, "I wish he could teach me in person." As a result, waitlists for his apprenticeship program stretch for months, fueled by fans eager to absorb his expertise. Johnny's daily journals reveal how he integrates reflection into his workflow. Each evening, he retreats to a small cabin office and writes brief notes. "Today I learned how a 1904 barn used angled braces differently than modern builds," or "when you salvage siding, always check underside for hidden maker's marks." Over time, these entries became the backbone of his upcoming handbook, tentatively titled Logs, Lives, and Lessons. Sneak peek snippets, hand-drawn sketches paired with journal quotes have stirred excitement among followers who see this as the ultimate distillation of his century-spanning wisdom. Despite his global reach, Johnny remains rooted in community rituals. Every Thursday, volunteers gather at the Boneyard for Timber Talk, an open forum where locals share stories of barns they remember from childhood, ask questions, and collaborate on mini-restoration demos. These gatherings reinforce his belief that preservation is not a solo act but a collective heritage. Cameras often roll unobtrusively, capturing candid exchanges that feel more like church socials than reality TV. That authenticity sparks viewers' desire to belong, feeding a perpetual cycle of engagement, donations, and volunteer sign-ups.